Welcome to this VRscans demonstration. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the VRscans technology together with the VRscans material library. We're going to cover the VRscans material features as well as simple step-by-step workflows of how we can use a VRscans material in our project. Let's take a look at some of the key features of the VRscans. A VRscans material is generated by capturing thousands of images of a real-life material sample. The resulted scanned material is often indistinguishable from the original sample, which makes it appear photorealistic. The amount of photographs generated by the high-quality hardware captures the material's texture in exceptional quality and detail. Using all this physical data, the VRscans technology captures the material's bidirectional texture function, or BTF. This approach is far more advanced and accurate than a single-point bidirectional reflectance distribution function, also known as BRDF. As a result, VRscans recreate a material's true surface appearance and unique response to light. To recreate a material as physically accurate as possible from the ground up, you need to build a complex shading network, which could be a daunting and time-consuming task. VRscans require no prior material building knowledge or use of any reference materials. Setting up a VRscans material is as easy as just drag and drop. On top of that, a VRscanned material is seamlessly tileable, which means you won't get any seams or repeatable patterns when you tile the material over the surface. The VRscans materials can be fine-tuned further in terms of appearance directly in Modo. You can alter the color of the originally scanned material to suit the needs of your scene. Also, you can paint on top of the color or texture without losing the material's properties or affecting the reflection color. You can adjust parameters such as UV tiling and bump strength, and you can blend VRscans materials with V-Ray materials as well. The VRscans material plugin is part of V-Ray version 3.6 or higher, which provides the user interface for importing, modifying, and using the VRscans materials in V-Ray for Modo. There is no additional installation. Once you purchase a license for the VRscans plugin, you automatically receive a 1-year subscription for the VRscans library. In short, the VRscans materials are more than just texture maps. In fact, the materials are not based on texture maps at all. They are based on thousands of images. They capture the material's physical properties and light behavior under different lighting angles. All of this is packed into a single material file that could be dragged and dropped onto any geometry in your scene. This approach provides incredibly fast workflow when it comes to shading your scene. Let's get started by browsing and downloading a few materials from the VRscans library that I'll need for my scene later. The VRscans library is a repository of pre-scanned materials created by Chaos Group with the VRscans scanning hardware. The library contains a large quantity of materials, currently around 700, and it is still growing. There are different types of materials broken down into categories such as car paint, plastic, wood, leather, metal, and so on. The library is accessible to all VRscans license holders, and also with the extended 90-day trial, you can use the VRscans plugin along with an access to the library. To access the VRscans material library, you need to click on the Downloads button located at the top right corner of the chaosgroup.com webpage. Within the Downloads page, there are a couple of tabs that you can choose from: Software and VRscans. Simply click on the VRscans tab. Once in the material library, you can browse and choose materials to download. On the left-hand side, there are multiple filters to narrow down the selection of materials. You can filter by material type, material color, also by what is the material most suitable for. for example, automotive, interior design, product design, and so on. Let's filter by material type and choose fabric. Also, let's add the color filter black. There is a list of all the black fabrics available for download in the library. Let's scroll down and choose one of them. Let's click on the fabric black pattern 11, for example. On the left-hand side, there is a thumbnail preview of the material which I can click to expand. This way, I can examine the material from a closer view. If I'm happy with the look of the material, I can simply click the download button and save it to my hard drive. Let's go back to the material list and choose another color to filter by. Let's choose brown. There is a fine collection of brown fabrics to choose from. Let's select the Fabric Brown 1 material and download it. Following the same procedure, you can browse and download all the materials you need for your project. Let's make use of the materials I've just downloaded from the library inside Modo. In this scene, I have the corner of a sofa with a cushion. Let's make a test render. Currently, all the assets that I'm about to apply VRscans materials to have a gray material assigned to them. Let's get started with the sofa material first. To assign VRscanned materials, we have two options. To add a new layer, scroll down to the V-Ray materials and choose VRscan material. Or, if we already have a material assigned to polygons, we can simply change the material type and choose V-Ray Scan from the drop-down menu. The first thing that needs to be done is to load a VRscans material. Under the basic rollout, there is a button to browse and load a material. Let's find the brown fabric I downloaded earlier and load it. As you can see, I can choose the JPEG instead of the VRscan file, and it will still do the job. Obviously, the size is wrong, so we need to adjust it. For that, I can use the Adjust UV Tiling button located in the basic rollout. The pop-up tells us that the projection type of VRscan material is not UV map, so we have to change it. Go to the texture locator and change projection type from solid to UV map. Under projection parameters, choose the correct UV map, which in this case is UV channel 1. Now we can go back and use the Adjust UV Tiling button. The pop-up tells us the tiling values that corresponds to the actual material sample and geometry scale. Now it looks much better. We can move on and set the material for the cushion following the same procedure. When I'm ready, I can go further and add some background image in the V-Ray frame buffer to fill the blank space in my render. Let's try a different look for that render. We have the ability to modify the color of the material. In the Appearance section, we can find the Filter Color and Paint Color options. You have to keep in mind that Filter Color will tint the material and change the behavior. It's like a post effect. Paint Color will change the color and keep the behavior of the material. This is the option that I need. We can simply choose a color or enter specific values. Let's try blue for the cushions using the same method. Another useful button in the basic parameter rollout is Show VRscan Info. We can find info for the sample dimensions and supported features so we can compare them to horizontal and vertical wrap, or make some speed improvements by turning off the transparency, for example, since it's not necessary in this case. For more in-depth information about VRscan material parameters and sample scenes, you can find our documents page on www.docs.chaosgroup.com. Now I can step up and add some depth of field camera effect and optionally some curved color correction to add more realism. I'm ready to fire up the render. As of what to be expected in the development of VRscans in the future, there are really exciting features already on the way. Support for render elements will be added. There is also going to be more control over displacement for materials using height maps. Geometry with bad UVs or no UVs would also be covered using a similar approach to triplanar mapping. The VRscans materials would be able to be rendered using the V-Ray GPU. On top of that, they would also be available V-Ray for Unreal. Finally, the VRscans material library will continue to grow even bigger and more diverse. In this video, we went over the VRscans material plugin, the technology behind it, together with examples of materials from the VRscans material library. I hope you found this video useful and helpful. Please give us your feedback, comment, or share it. Thank you for watching.